Hi there, good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm very sorry that you can't find the other speaker yet, so I'm just going to start. I'm Dorothee. I'm based between Berlin, Copenhagen, and New York, and I'm running an agency. This is my agency called DS Agency. So I got asked to introduce myself and the concept a little. So first of all, the vision that I have is sustainability culture can be engaging and diverse. This is a wonderful infographic by the amazing Slow Factory. Slow Factory is an institution, is an organization based in New York. If you don't know it, I encourage you to follow it on Instagram. They are doing an amazing job in getting out, putting out events focused on sustainability and social justice in a very fun and engaging way. It's actually not boring, I swear. I went to their conferences. It's amazing. So, my idea is you can't talk about sustainability in old-fashioned ways. We just have to lighten up the mood, right? Everyone talks about sustainability, everyone talks about diversity, everyone talks about the new fashion and how this world has to change, and yet there's so many concepts and ideas and way of communicating around it that are like simply boring. We need to engage fun people, we need to engage fashion people, we need to engage people who are like visually conscious, as I would call it, in order to appeal and really make a change. So, how do I talk about sustainability, or how do I tackle sustainability in a way? I really want to put out the term and idea of diversifying retail for you. You see 3 pictures there. It's 3 pictures from some of the most influential, most established concept stores in the world. One is in London, one is in Berlin, one is in New York. And regardless of how much I like those concept stores, and I love to shop there and how well they perform, you see, they all look the same. Same aesthetics. It's the same stuff that's hanging in there. And I swear, if I copy and paste that with other images from, let's say, Dubai, Sydney, maybe even Mumbai, Johannesburg, it will be the same. And I believe this is what we need to change. We need to change the aesthetics of retail in order to become more sustainable and also more diverse. Because we can't talk about sustainability, we can't talk about the new fashion if we don't include other aesthetics and other approaches to that. So, what's the concept of my agency? As I said before, retail needs new impulses, and where do they get it? From the wholesale, because it's so much linked together. So what I focus on what we do with the agency is we are scouting brands from offbeat markets. With that said, if you think about back to the slide that I had before with the same retail aesthetics, that's highly due to the fact that a lot of, even though they are super creative and out there, buyers would source from the same sources. They go to the trade shows, they go to the established channels, and they find all the same repetitive brands from the repetitive markets there. So this is why I try to go to new markets, to fresh locations in order to get designers and upcoming talents that have just a different value set and a different aesthetic to their style. I build business, or we build business through strength and business strengths through experiences. With that I say, it's important for a young brand to learn while actually doing the work. Like you can, of course, you can sit in a lecture in your fashion studies and they tell you about wholesale, they tell you about the price calculation, they tell you how to approach and sell your stuff to buyers, but you need to experience that. You need to go to a proper trade show in New York, in Paris, in Milan, and actually see what works for you, how do you work, and how do you want to continue. I'm connecting industry professionals and working event-based. That means I go to a specific location, let's say Copenhagen, like you see on the flyer above. It's a Copenhagen-based pop-up shop that I run for the Fashion Week there. I go there, I connect people that are like locally influential with young and fresh designers that come from different markets. And this is not repetitive for me because I don't use the same clients, let's say designers over and over. I kind of create specifically for the location and for the event. Because not every designer, not every style, not every approach will work in the same location. What sells in Copenhagen might just not sell in Helsinki. It's a fact. So I've been asked, in my opinion, what a great fashion brand makes. Nowadays, it's pretty obviously, I would say, that you need to stand out. We are so oversaturated. We get thrown all these pictures, all this stuff, all these things that we need and should buy around in our faces all the time. You need to have a signature. Your signature can start with your talent and your quality. That's always good, right? I mean, everyone needs a talented designer. That's kind of the baseline. And the quality is just don't compromise on the quality of the collections, your materials, your sources, because this is something that can make you outstanding in the long run. Then there's something, uniqueness and signature styles. You see 3 images here. It's 3 different brands. One is the wonderful Paya Moss from New York, had one of the best fashion shows at New York Fashion Week this season, because he makes a very, very strong point in his Black culture. So this fashion show, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on YouTube. It's wonderful. It's the most engaging Black fashion experience you can have. And that makes him so unique, so successful, because he sticks to something that is important to him. Then you see Sex Spots. It's a brand from Copenhagen, wonderful brand working a lot with fur. The coat that you see there is a coat they carry through all of their seasons in different colors. So whenever you see that coat in whatever color, you know if you're into fashion, that's a Sex Spot style. And then in the very top right, of course, the wonderful Off-White, and we all know it. There is no way to not spot that it's an Off-White or a knockoff brand, for that matter. You see a piece like that on the street. So this is what I'm saying, stick to your uniqueness. If you have local uniqueness, if you have a solid signature to your style, work it out. And then there's, of course, another aspect to that, and I believe as much as I support and love creative talent, you need to think about your business. You need to have a structure, and you need to have a clear branding vision. Because in the end, you want to run a business, right? You want to pay your rent, you want to make your next collection, you want to grow, you want to maybe even employ someone at some point. So you need to have your key points in your business strategy nailed down in order to be seen and to be standing out on the market as a good fashion brand. So just as a little idea, the brands that we are working with, they are, I would say, roughly divided in 2 different sections. One is very, very much focused on sustainability, slow fashion, and ethical fashion. Here, it depends for me. I don't think it needs to be super strict, let's say. I work with brands that qualify as slow fashion, even if they don't, for example, use 100% only certified materials, etc., etc. But for me, the way that they produce in limited handmade quantities, let's say, makes it slow fashion for me, makes it different from the fast fashion game, right? So furthermore, then there is again the markets. For me, it's important to, as I said before, source and look at unique markets. So I go, for example, I had a long working relationship with Tel Aviv Fashion Week, a very, very upcoming and nice destination. Then I worked with an Indian brand called Benjamin because they have a very, very strong local signature. Again, they use something that is in Rajasthan, very, very classical. It's the block print, but mix it up in really wearable collections for mostly the American market. And then down you see newness to old aesthetics, very, very classic tailored menswear, but just with a new twist. So that is 3 different key points that really always caught my attention, because I think it's important to, as I said, go a little bit off the beaten market, shake things up, use old traditions because they are wonderful, but just represent them in an engaging and new and fun way. Where and how do we work? Well, mostly, as I said before, I work with already established trade shows. Here we have men, women, they are in Paris and in New York, reassembled something. If you don't know it, please check it out. It's a wonderful new trade show that just launched in New York and in Paris last season, kind of created out of garmentory, which is very, very, very recommendable. They are focusing on niche and edge brands, which is the perfect way for the brands and the people that I'm working with to be represented, because also this is a thing you learn over time. let's say, a more mainstream show like Tranoi and White Milan, really good locations, but very hard for new and upcoming brands. And then I collaborate with Premium and Neo Nude Berlin, and this is one, of course, a very sustainable show. The other show is an established European, rather mainstream trade show, and for them I focus on like sustainability approaches and curation of panel speeches and etc. So furthermore, we create shopping destinations. As I said before, I did something for Copenhagen Fashion Week, so this is a thing that's ongoing. We just establish, we curate a pop-up shop based on the location. It's mostly in collaboration with an event that's already happening, looking for fresh, young and cool designers that just met the local market there. So there we go, the last question I was asked, how local brands, how Slovenian brands can interact with me, can work with me, can do business with me. Well, obviously I offer sustainability consulting, brand consulting, and connecting for retail and wholesale events. This is something where I'm like super interested. If you guys just wanna like hit me up after the talk, send me an email, like have a chat about it, because I believe this is a very interesting location. You people are so creative and everything here seems to be so organized and ready to go. Plus I'm Croatian, you know, so I have a little bit of like, no, I think I did it wrong. I'm kind of Croatian, but I can't really speak it very well, so excuse me if I also don't try to pronounce that. But yeah, so if you want to get in touch with me, I'm always looking for new brands, for pop-up shops, for trade shows, especially for the next season that's coming up for New York and for Paris, so I would love to have a chat about that.